They found her barefoot in the ash, eyes wide, clothes torn, and not a single wound on her body. Yet every soldier swore they'd never seen her before, not even moments earlier when the blast fell. She didn't speak, not when the medics questioned her, not when the officers leaned in close with scanners humming near her temples. She just stared straight ahead, silent and still, with soot coating her lashes and dried blood matting her hair. The battlefield behind her was still smoking, bodies buried in craters, shrapnel glittering in the dust, and yet she stood untouched. They wrapped a thermal blanket around her thin shoulders, whispered protocols, and tried to explain the impossible. No one remembered her being there. No unit claimed her. No records listed her. She didn't match any known POW logs or refugee transports. She didn't even flinch when they mentioned the enemy's name. But when one young corporal, fresh from the wreckage, limping on a splinted leg, walked past her, he stopped mid-step. His breath caught. He stared at her face, pale and quiet beneath the grime. "That's her," he whispered. "That's the girl I saw, just before the missile hit." She was standing in the fire. The officers laughed it off, but the medic's hands froze mid-bandage. "Standing in the fire?" The corporal nodded. "I'm telling you, she didn't burn. I thought I was hallucinating." She looked right at me, and then everything went black. They placed the girl in containment after that. Sealed room. Monitored vitals. She never blinked at the cameras, never moved when the guards passed. But she watched. Always watched. And that night, the base systems recorded an anomaly. Her heart rate rose exactly 30 seconds before the blackout. Alarms tripped. Power failed. Every monitor flatlined. And when it came back, she was gone. Not a door opened. Not a vent moved. Just gone, leaving behind only one strange mark on the wall. A handprint burned into metal, fingers long, and not quite human. They sounded every perimeter alarm. Units swept the compound, drones in the air, boots on the ground, scent tracking sensors buzzing through scorched terrain, but she had vanished like smoke. Command tried to suppress the incident, but the whispers leaked fast. Some claimed she was an enemy bioweapon, a mimic bred to infiltrate by appearing as a lost girl. Others swore she was a ghost, a memory given form by war's grief. But the corporal, the same boy who'd seen her in the fire, couldn't shake what he felt when their eyes met. She wasn't hostile, he told the intelligence officer in the interrogation chamber, his voice shaking. She was scared, like she didn't know why she was there either. His words didn't help his case. Within hours, he was stripped of rank and reassigned to a med ward in the rear lines. But days later, a silent alert pinged on an off-grid patrol. A recon team had gone missing while sweeping through Zone Red, enemy-held territory thick with radiation and old wreckage. The corporal, now demoted to stretcher duty, rode with the rescue unit. And when they found the patrol's last transmission, frozen in looping static, he saw it again, that face. For one frame, half a second, her image flashed across the HUD cam. Same torn clothing. Same blank eyes. No one believed him, of course. Glitch, they said. Ghost data. But he knew. That girl was walking through a war zone no one could survive, unarmed, unarmored, unburned. And wherever she went, the enemy fled. Intel started pulling deeper scans. Someone found a centuries-old myth logged from an abandoned colony, about a silent one, who walked between firestorms and stole memory from machines. Another team tracked back satellite footage and discovered something stranger still. This girl's figure had appeared before. In 3 separate conflicts. Decades apart. Always the same age. Always alone. And always after something unspeakable had happened. She wasn't just wandering. She was looking for something. Or someone. They finally saw her again, on the ruins of Outpost 9, standing atop the collapsed watchtower, wind whipping her ragged clothes as ash spiraled through the gray sky. Aerial scans caught her just before static scrambled the feed. By the time the ground unit arrived, the tower was cold and silent, her footprints the only thing left on the scorched stone. But this time, they found something else. Buried beneath the rubble, 2 bodies. One was a missing recon soldier. The other was a child. A small alien girl, barely clothed, curled beside the soldier's cooling corpse. Alive. Breathing. But unconscious. The child had no memory of who rescued her. No idea how she'd survived the firestorm. But she kept repeating one thing, over and over. She said I'd be safe. She said he'd come. Command dismissed the story as trauma-induced delusion. But the corporal, now working unofficially behind the scenes, had already begun tracing a path. He mapped out every location the girl had appeared, realized they all shared one thing in common. Hidden survivors. Children. Non-combatants. Always saved. Always found after everyone else died. She wasn't a weapon. She was a witness. A keeper of the forgotten. Someone who walked through death to find those left behind. The corporal submitted his final report and disappeared the next day. Some say he went AWOL. Others claim he saw her again, one last time, just outside the blast radius of a falling city. He was holding the hand of a child who shouldn't have survived. His boots were soaked in ash. His lips were cut from heat. But his voice, when they heard it over the evac comms, was calm. "I saw her," he said. She was smiling this time. She knew I'd understand. After that, there were no more sightings. Just stories. Of a girl in burned clothes, walking barefoot through war, pulling survivors from flame, and reminding the dying that someone remembered them.